try to not miss those opportunities to be around people who are wiser than I am. So I think the first one that really strikes me was I was at the peak of my music career, and I was tanking in my love life, and I was just really terrible at it, basically. And this one guy who was a pastor in the church, I was in his kitchen, we're having dinner, and he has this incredible loving family, and honestly didn't know how to build that. And I said, "Can you teach me how to do that?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I and he was brave enough to speak truth and love when I did, telling me things I didn't want to hear, and I was humble enough to actually accept them, right? So that was a big one. And I think in any weakness, people are going to tell you things you don't want to hear, and you have to find people who will actually tell you something that you don't want to hear, and they have expertise in that, but also find the humility to actually listen and do something about it. I think another one was very interesting is I was interviewing, um, I had a production company. We did music and music videos and music production in Hollywood. And I became friends with one of my childhood icons. His name was George Duke. He's passed away since. And he's like a Grammy Award winning legend, musician, producer, all of that. So I was interviewing him, and I said, "What is you worked with just some of the biggest names on the planet. What is a common thread in all of them?" And I thought, because I'm an artist and I've been successful, I'm like hard work, talent, charisma, whatever. Like I had a long list in my brain of things that he could say. And he says, I think the most important thing I found them to have is imagination. They not about just life, but about themselves. They could imagine themselves, they can see themselves succeeding. And to me, that was a big insight. And I think it's true. I think if you can't really clearly picture your future in 3 to 5 years,
Uh-huh.
it's going to be hard to hit that future to experience it. And so one of the things that we do at Exponential is really, really create a vision for the future that is 3D, HD, Ultra HD in a lot of detail, because you can hold on to that, and that vision will shape the way the decisions you make, the things you say no to, things like that. The other one, I think, the third one, I mean, I've had many. I've been very fortunate, but working with one of my business partners in Third Drive, in this company that also does consulting for founders in tech, was just meeting my friend Brandon Nicely, who is this IBM trained engineer. He did a lot of capital raising in Silicon Valley. He built $1 billion telecommunications company in the 90s in New York, and done a lot of things. And just being around him, observing the texture and the terminology and the dynamics of the startup world, to me, that was just massively, um, just a massive period of growth. Just being in meetings around him, where we partner up. So I would do the storytelling, the digital media, the brand development for these people, and he would advise them on how to raise capital, how to pitch, all of those things, how to structure deals. So I would be in those meetings, and then I remember I really wanted to be around him because I wanted to learn that world. So in the beginning, I could barely understand 20% of what he was saying, and now I not only understand all of it, maybe not to the degree that he does,
Mm.
but I can very confidently talk about most of the topics in tech startup world, things like that. And that really helps me even coach people in that space, right? Because I know their world a little bit better.
Mhm. How is success like pancakes?
Success is like pancakes because it only works depending on the toppings you choose. Yeah, does that work?
Yeah, so that's how success is like pancakes.